The Rose Bowl is just 6 hours away, folks. I just went through the first meeting between Ohio State and Oregon. Ducks won at 32-31 mid-October at Autzen Stadium. Yes, I should have completed this a few days ago, but here it is. Got a ton of notes, so this video is not necessarily going to be well crafted or even well worded, but these are the notes. This is what my take is. Let's go through it together, top to bottom. Big analysis here, right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like and subscribe. First big item for me is obviously the absence of Jordan Burch in the first game, and then the Ohio State offensive line situation being in a much better place from a personnel standpoint, losing probably their two best offensive linemen, although, of course, Donovan Jackson right there as well, but Seth McLaughlin, the center, and Josh Simmons not there. So the Burch upgrade on the Oregon defensive front versus the offensive line demise of Ohio State, that could be enormous. That could be the ball game right there. Ohio State's pass pro, though, has been strong. The run game we'll get to. We're just going through the ball game, starting with the first drive. Ohio State able to get a fourth down push with the offensive line. Will Howard getting the first down easily. Of course, we had the Will Kesmerick play with Jeffrey Bassa. The interception when he rolled over, didn't control the football, and Bassa took it away from him. Bad call by the officials led to an Ohio State touchdown. Oregon defensive backs, despite the matchup of facing possibly the best wide receiver group in the country, they tackled in space extremely well. The Ohio State yardage gain through the pass was well earned as opposed to the other side. So tackling in space, excellent for Oregon for the most part against these Ohio State wide receivers. Dylan Gabriel and Oregon, they got fourth down pushes too from the offensive side as well. So the offensive lines did their job on fourth and short for the most part. Emeka Egbuka, a number of times getting the edge. He's, of course, been the one wide receiver during the course of his career that the Buckeyes have gone to on the jet sweeps, and they worked against Oregon. They were able to get the edge, and Egbuka able to get 12 yards on this particular play and had a couple other productive runs. Of course, Derek Harmon had that takeaway from Quinshon Judkins. Can we really expect that to happen again? But that was an exceptional play. Just ripped the ball out of his hands, set up Oregon's first touchdown at the 28-yard line. So they had a 28-yard field thanks to Derek Harmon, who had an exceptional game. Had a lot of short yardage stops on this Buckeyes offensive line. Jordan James, he was getting to the edge, and the wide receivers blocking for Oregon. I know that's an emphasis at Ohio State, but the Oregon wide receivers, they blocked 25 yards. Then the touchdown, that was rather easy after the Harmon strip of Judkins. Of course, Oregon left points on the field. They had the botched PAT. The hold was messed up. Couple false starts on Ohio State, moved it from 3rd and 6 to 3rd and 16. That would be a theme in this game. So take that away. Seemingly, you would think with Ohio State playing at the Rose Bowl, neutral crowd, fans on both sides, of course, versus playing at Autzen Stadium, that was a huge issue for Ohio State. The two false start penalties early in the game. They also had two on the final, second to final drive, and that hurt as well. Evan Stewart, very uneven season, and I would point you as well for previews here at the Voice of College Football to our Ohio State and Oregon channel, specifically my conversation with Spencer McLaughlin of Locked On. But we talked about Evan Stewart, disappeared much of the season, but had an enormous game against Ohio State, 7 catches, 149, and a touchdown, and had a nice Big Ten championship game as well. If Ohio State has to deal with him again, in addition to Tez Jackson, Trayshawn Holden, etc., the tight end Terrence Ferguson, wow, could be too much. Davison Igbinosun, we know that the way the officials evaluate his play and his constant grabbing is a big deal. Because he could get away with it, then he's got the advantage. If he doesn't get away with it, then you're talking 2-3 holding calls during the course of this game. Because he's just going to do it. That's the way he plays. Atticus Sappington had a field goal miss early in this game. He's been kicking better as of late. Travion Henderson, 2 straight off-tackle plays that were perfectly blocked. The Ohio State run game has been feast and famine. In this game and throughout the season, Jordan James and Noah Whittington, they've been consistent. The offensive line's been consistent. They were consistently gaining yardage. The Oregon run game, the Ohio State run game. Big in the first half, big splash plays, and this has been most of the season, but not consistently getting 5, 6, 7. Getting 0, 0, 1, 2, -1, then 22. So that's what it's been for the Buckeyes. Oregon had some bad snaps. Keep an eye out for that. Evan Stewart burning Ohio State's defensive backs. Dragged Denzel Burke. Poor Denzel Burke, of course, we all know. Well chronicled and documented and seen by me again this week that he just got torched in this game. Evan Stewart ran right by him. And then once Stewart caught the ball, Denzel Burks, I had to go back and count it, gave up 19 yards just hanging on him, trying to get him to the ground. Evan Stewart again versus the defensive back press coverage made a one-handed catch that was exceptional. Of course, there was the squib kick. So Oregon kind of lucked out there. They tried the squib kick. It hit a front man. They get the ball back. So Ohio State fans, you can make the claim that the Buckeyes got unlucky in this game. You know what? Oregon fans, you can also make the claim that there were a lot of things that happened against Oregon that left points on the field. Both fan bases, both sides have their claims in this one, no doubt about that. There was the Trayshawn Holden spitting incident. We would expect him to possibly understand that you spit toward the ground. I understand in playing sports myself, we all have done it. Spit, spit, spit. You get a lot of saliva in your mouth. Just don't direct that at another individual, Trayshawn Holden. Okay. That was big because the Ducks had a 1st and goal at the 9. That pushed them back. They kicked the field goal 15-14 at that point. 9 minutes left in the second quarter. Zen Mahoski had to replace Josh Simmons. That, of course, huge. Mateo Uiagalelei had an exceptional play, stuffing Quinshon Judkins on 3rd and 1, but Judkins got the first down on the 4th and short play. Oregon blown coverages for 2 plays that led to the Emeka Egbuka touchdown, 21-15 Buckeyes, but then Ted Jackson comes back and burns Ohio State. Again, he is tough to deal with. And again, I'm going to emphasize this point. Although Ohio State's wide receivers are exceptional, they did not abuse Oregon's defensive backs. They made plays, but man, they had to earn it. And they were not getting yards after the catch. Oregon's wide receivers, yards after the catch. Okay, second half. Dillon Gabriel had way too much time on a 3rd and 10 and found Evan Stewart in the zone, who found the soft spot in the zone. That was easy. 3rd and 8, Ohio State blitz works. But man, do they need to get Gabriel to the ground. They had so many shots at him, let him loose, but still got the incompletion. Okay, Jeremiah Smith did a great job coming back to the football. Will Howard, it looked like a bad pass, but he got hit, throwing motion, and Smith comes back to the football. Later, Will Howard improvises, did a great job of being flush from the pocket and finding Jeremiah Smith, working his way in the back of the end zone for the touchdown, 28-22 Buckeyes. G. Scott used in this game against Oregon. That could be key in the second matchup. And again, we're going to see these 2 offensive coordinators in particular, both coordinators on both sides of the ball, but especially the offensive coordinators, evaluate this film and then figure what can we do off of what was successful. Of course, we're going to go back to what was successful until they can show that they can stop it and that they've remedied it. But much like Bill Walsh in the 1981 NFC Championship game in out mastering Tom Landry, he knew that Landry was so good that he would take away what was apparent in the first matchup and also throughout the season for San Francisco, and that is what led to the Dwight Clark, the catch in the back of the end zone, is that was Tom Landry defending that play, but Walsh knew that he would defend the play, and he played off of it and created a different play, an alternate that they worked on in training camp. All right, back to this one. 9 minutes left. Jeremiah Smith, again with his touchdown as Will Howard extended the play. Terrence Ferguson, 4th and inches, converts for 31 yards. Both of these coaches, especially Dan Lanning, not afraid of going unconventional, trusting quarterback and receivers' ability to throw and catch when it's, let's say, 4th and inches, 3rd and inches, and saying, you know what, we're going to trust our ability to throw and catch, this is an opportunity for a big play because they're going to sell out against the run or against the push play between the tackles. Caleb Downs had a bat at the line. Otherwise, he was absent in this game. I did not see a lot of Caleb Downs for as exceptional as he has been in garnering just about all the Defensive Player of the Year type awards this year. This was not a great game for him. Did have a bat that led to a field goal. After Downs gets the bat, the Buckeyes did make a monumental stop inside the 5-yard line. Oregon had 1st and goal. They also had 4th and goal at the 3. And then Jim Knowles brought the house. They almost get Dylan Gabriel to the ground. He's got to throw it away. Misses Tez Johnson, who's wide open, but that's easy to criticize because Dylan Gabriel was dealing with a pass rush. So Ohio State with a goal line stand there. So then the Buckeyes have to take over at their own 3. Emeka Egbuka, great crossing route on 3rd and long to get to the 20-yard line. But key play here, and Will Howard seems to have a few of these per game. 3rd and 3 at their own 20, seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Will Howard just botches the snap and gives up what could have been a 3rd down conversion to keep the drive alive. Ohio State's got to punt it away deep in their own end at their own 16. Jordan James, blitz pickup, exceptional. Dylan Gabriel on this final touchdown drive for Oregon showed a couple different times. And this one play in particular, of course, for the touchdown, Oregon's final TD, that he's masterful at deception, keeping the ball, finding the edge, making the right read. And on this particular play, JT Tuimoloau should have stayed with Gabriel. He went after the runner. Gabriel then had a wide open touchdown. Okay, Buckeyes have to come back after trailing 29-28. Emeka Egbuka's route running, we all know, it's great. Ohio State's pass protection, again, you cannot fault it in this game. It was really good. They go down, they just, when the Buckeyes get the pass game going, and you hate to say they should just pass the ball every play to a certain extent, but that's what it looks like. They should just throw it. Got to have the run, and you got 2 excellent runners. But I'm thinking 70-30 pass unless they get a lead. They get the field goal, 31-29, 6 minutes left. Oregon, key play here, 3rd and 6, not afraid to run it because Josh Connerly wiped out the Ohio State left side of the defense. Jordan James gets the 1st down on a 3rd and 6 with 3.5 minutes left. Jordan Hancock had a PI. He was beat on the play by Evan Stewart, and so he had to grab and hold his arm. And then, of course, the Ohio State defense once again gets the goal line stand. Keeps it at 32-31. So that set up the final drive. We know what happened there. Buckeyes get the ball, 1:47 left on the clock. Will Howard slips, falls down. They got a 2nd and 14 there in a hole. But the passing game for Ohio State, the wide receivers, route running, Will Howard's precision, it was on point on that final drive. Until, of course, they get down to the 28-yard line. They're at a 45-yard field goal at that point. Jeremiah Smith with a reception to get them down to the 17. But, of course, the offensive pass interference. Was it a good call? By the book, yes, good call. Could have been called. Have no issue with that being called. Is it called all the time? No. So then that takes it back to 2nd and 25 at the 43. Then, of course, Dan Lanning pulled some trickery with the clock with a 5-yard penalty for delay. And then the Will Howard slide. His butt hit the ground with 1 second left, but that's not the rule. The officials have to acknowledge that the play's over and get to the ball. So that didn't happen. Ohio State blows it there at the end. Of course, you could say a lot of things. Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard needed to slide earlier. Would they have made the field goal? Well, at that point in the season, Jaden Fielding looked almost automatic. But we know 0 for 2 against Michigan. Does Ohio State want to kick a game-winning field goal with Jaden Fielding at this point? Will Howard was really good in this game. Is he going to play better in the second game? I doubt it. I think that's about his ceiling. Not that he played the greatest game of his career, but probably the best game of this season. Again, the rush game for Ohio State, just too erratic, where Oregon's is consistent. The pass pro for Ohio State, exceptional. I think it comes down to, what is Jim Knowles going to do about this secondary play? he is going to have to do so much with this secondary is Denzel Burke, who said this week, hey, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. So at least he's giving the indication, or at least trying to show us that he is savoring this matchup and redemption because, of course, we all know he was awful. Dylan Gabriel played a great game as well. Rarely missed on anything. Jordan James, wide receivers, the whole offense for Oregon as they outgained the Buckeyes by about 30 yards in this game. Of course, they had the home field. A few things went Oregon's way, of course, and a few things went the Buckeyes' way. Should be a great game. My picks, of course, on Patreon and as a YouTube Premium member. And we will watch it at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, of course. But after the Sugar Bowl, Notre Dame, Georgia, join me here at the Voice of College Football. Give me a call. Our big call-in shows after all the big playoff games. Appreciate you being here at the Voice of College Football. Please like and subscribe.